Hello, everyone. Welcome to Facebook Live. It is Tuesday, November 6th, and we are going to be using several bundles today. Well, a couple anyway. I'm going to be using Forever Forest. Excuse me for just a minute. I'm going to pick up my scoring tool, which keeps falling off from where I have it because it's not where it belongs. Let's go ahead and see who's on. And we will get started as soon as I can see the comments. Okay, come on. Show me what I want to see. Okay, I can't find me. Am I not live in the right place? There we go. Okay, hello, Cynthia. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I have one project with Forever Forest, and we're also going to be using Very Cute with this one. And then we're also, for the second project, we're going to be using Merriest trees. So let's go ahead and start with our 3D project. And that is going to take Forever Forest along with Very Cute. Okay, both of these, these are both bundles. The Very Cute comes with the Very Cute punch, and I believe this is supposed to be back in stock next week. If it hasn't made it back today, I forgot to check. I'm going to jump over there real quick and I'm going to look just to see if that is back in stock. No, it's out. Well, it says it's out till November. Well, let me refresh this. Very Cute, not orderable tools. It looks like it might be back in stock. Okay, so let's confirm. Yes, the punch is back in stock. You can get the bundle. Yay! All right. So these can be purchased in a bundle, and when you purchase them, you save 10% off of the total price of the two. And then Forever Forest. This has no sentiments. It's a lovely set because you can create whole mountain scenes. You've got clouds, the moon, stars, trees. It cuts out all of these images. And then in addition, it will cut these extra 6 trees, plus the rocks, the mountain. We're going to be using this piece today on our card, and we're going to be using these 3 dies. Okay, and actually, it's not a card, so let's go ahead and get started. Hello, Lynette. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Laura. Welcome. Okay, so we are going to be making a 3D project. Done some of this ahead of time. You need a piece of cherry cobbler, and this piece is 2 inches by 5 inches. Okay, you need a piece of garden green, and I've already gone ahead and cut that with the 3 trees here. So I've got the largest tree, then the second one, or not the largest, the second largest, and then, so we've got 2, 3, and 4 of the 6, or 2, 3, yeah. Anyway, there you go. Those are the ones we're using. We're also going to be using this piece right here. We'll put these back since I've already cut those. And then we'll put this in here. Let's get that out of the way. I'm going to use that in a minute. Set those aside. We're going to do a little bit of stamping on those. And then we're using the Heartfelt Hexagon Punch. This is this still available? It will be, in any case, in the January catalog, but let's see if it's still in the store. It is. Okay. So this is the Heartfelt Hexagon Punch, and you can get that in a bundle with the Heartfelt Hexagon Photopolymer Stamp Set. Okay, we are not using this stamp set today, just the punch. Okay, and you'll need to punch one of these in Cherry Cobbler and one in Pool Party. Okay, so I've already pre-done that to help us out a bit. We need a little scrap of white, not much at all, just a small scrap of basic white for this part. Okay, so we're going to take the Very Cute stamp set, and from the Very Cute stamp set, we're going to take the little baby bear here. I'm sorry, I didn't get that on the block already. Okay, and then we're going to use a little bit of smoky slate, and we're going to stamp up our bear. Okay, I'm going to stamp that on this smaller piece. And then we're also going to take from that stamp set the stocking hat. Okay. And we're going to get some Cherry Cobbler. And we're going to stamp his hat. Little stocking hat. Right there. Okay. Then we're going to take our bubble bath. Actually, I'm going to use the Bubble Bath Dark Stampin' Blend. And I'm just going to fill in the white spaces on the hat. Oh. Okay. And then we need to fussy cut these. Okay, but I've already done that. Do the magic of television. And here is our little bear with his little hat. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get our other piece together that we need. Get these blends out of my way. We need to take the hexagon punch. And I wanted to show you how I did this. So I just need a small piece of white again. Basic white. I'm going to take one about this size. Just a little scrap. I'm going to put this down into my hexagon punch. About, almost halfway. And I'm going to punch that out so that I've got this piece here. Okay. I'm going to set that aside. Then we'll bring in my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and we're going to bring in this piece. Okay. So we're just going to take our mini. I'm going to get plate 1, plate 2. Okay, then I'm going to take my small piece of white here, and I'm going to put this mountain on the smaller edge. On this particular die, it doesn't cut the bottom, it only cuts the top, and that's important to note, and then it will emboss. And I don't want that bottom cut, so that's good. So I'm going to put this here like so. Doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as your top of your mountain is still on your piece. Then I'm going to put my plate over the top, and I'm going to run that through. Okay. And then we can set this aside. And we can put this away because we're done with it. Got my little magnet card over to my left, just out of sight. Okay, so then we've got this piece left. Okay, we had that, and now we have this. So this we don't need. We're going to keep this piece. And now we're ready to start. Well, let's go ahead and stamp. Let's go ahead and get that done. I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to pull out these trees. And I bet I forgot to pull that stamp too, didn't I? Okay, so we've got those. Then from Forever Forest, no, I've got it out. I do have it out on the block already, ready to go. Okay, now we're going to take some shaded spruce. And I'm going to ink up that stamp. Make sure it's good. Then I'm going to stamp right over the top of my die cut. I'm just giving a little bit of texture on my tree. Stamp it twice without re-inking. Okay, so now my trees are good. They're ready to go. All right. Okay, set that aside. Pull these back out of the way. Now we're going to take our cherry cobbler piece, and this piece is 2 inches by 5 inches. And I'm going to bring in my scoring tool. I simply scored. Okay. And we are going to score this on the 2-inch side at 1/2 inch. And I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees and score 1/2 inch on the other side. Okay. Then I'm going to place this at the top on the 5-inch side, and I'm going to score this at 3/4, 2, 3, and 4 1/4. Okay, and that's all of our scoring. Now I'm going to take some tear and tape adhesive, and I'm going to run this tear and tape right along my score line on the outside here on the front. And then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay. Now I've got that done and ready. Go ahead and burnish that down. All right, now we're going to fold this on all the score lines. Okay, then we're going to take our scissors and at the juncture here of these two, I'm going to cut an angle cut on the right side and an angle cut to make a triangle on the left side. And I'm going to do that on all of these score line junctures. Okay. So we've got that. Then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to repeat that again. At all those score line junctures, I'm going to cut a little triangle out. Okay, and there is our finished piece. Okay, so now what we're going to do with this is this pool party piece of the hexagon that I punched. I also ran through the snowflake sky embossing folder. I just put that in there and ran it through. You can choose whether you want it to be in the fuller part of the snow or the lighter part. I chose the lighter part. Okay, so we're going to take that and actually let's go ahead and I want to do some work on this before I start putting that together. It's easier to do when it's flat. So I'm going to take this piece that we cut. Remember we used a partial hexagon shape and then we used that mountain. I'm going to take and add some liquid glue to the back of this, but I'm going to do it just along the edge and the bottom. And that is way too much glue. Okay, so let's take our silicone mat. This happens to you, just grab your silicone mat and wipe some of that off. Okay, won't hurt your silicone mat, it'll dry, and then you can just peel it up. So now I'm going to add this to my pool party hexagon piece. And I just want to get all my edges even, so I want to make sure I get that on the bottom. Line up those sides. And then I'm going to go with my bone folder just to make sure that those sides are sealed. Okay. Now I didn't put any adhesive up here, and this is popped up for a reason because I'm going to slide my trees down in there. Okay. So we're going to take the tallest tree of the three that we cut, and I'm going to cut this right at this bottom branch, and then I'm going to cut the bottom branch off. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of liquid glue along the trunk of the tree, not all the way up, just partial. And then I'm going to stick this down here in roughly the center. And then I'm going to give that a good press. Okay, and take my next tallest tree. I'm going to cut off this branch on the left. And then I'm going to cut this and that. Okay, so I took off the two lower branches and a little bit of the trunk. And you can measure. I just want this to come down like this. So whatever it takes to get that inside your behind your mountain. And again, a little bit of liquid glue along the trunk. And then we're going to slide this in here. Like so. I could go down just a little bit more if I can get it in there. Okay. We'll press that down. And then we've got our final tree. Let's give that a good measure. That looks good. If I can just, no trimming needed. Let's get a little bit of glue on there. And then we'll straighten up our tree trunk. And now we're ready to start assembling our box. Okay, so we're going to bring in that piece that we just trimmed out. And we're going to remove all of the backing tape all at once. Okay, get that off. And then I'm going to take in the very center, you've got 5 sections here. So in the middle section of each side, I'm going to take and place one of these right at the score line here. Okay, center it up right at the score line. Give that a press. And then I'm going to take the back side of my box, my cherry cobbler hexagon, and I'm going to place that right up next to the score line. Okay, so now I've got the front and the back of my box ready to go. Now to form the box, I'm going to take and fold this piece up to the edge. So I'm going to put the scored edge up to the cut edge. And if you want to go a little bit beyond, that's perfectly okay. Okay, so I'm going to do that side. And then I'm going to go to this side and I'm going to do the same thing. Cut edge to the scored edge. I'm going to press that down. Then I'm going to take this smaller piece, the top, and I'm going to bend it so that it meets the cut edge here. And the same thing on this side. Okay, now the front of my box is together. Now I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to give that a good burnish so that that doesn't come apart. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Cut edge to scored edge. Cut edge to scored edge. And when you use this tear and tape, until you actually press it, it's very forgiving. You can pull it back. So I'm going to just keep working that up until I've got all my scored edges adhered to my cut edges. And now I'm going to give this a good press and burnish that down so it doesn't come apart. And now I've got a box, okay, ready for treats. And this will hold 2 of the Lindor truffles, or you could put Hershey's Kisses in there. You can probably get about 6. Whatever you like for the holidays. Those Andes mint sticks would fit in here. Hershey's Nuggets. You could put some Hershey's Nuggets in there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add our little bear here that we colored and cut out here. I'm adding dimensionals. And then I'm just going to pop him up right here so he looks like he's walking in the snow in front of those trees in that mountain. Okay, and there is our first project using the Beary Cute and Forever Forest. Now, I hope you liked how simple that was. These go together really quickly and they do not take much cardstock. You take a 2x5 strip, you cut some hexagons of the heart-filled hexagons, you punch those out, quick and easy. Now, if you want to make these even easier, you don't need to go through all this to make it look super cute. You could take and do something like this. So this is the sitting bear. And of course, you could leave his hat off, and then you wouldn't have to cut that out by hand. You could just cut this polar bear, stamp his scarf right on there. And then this is a piece of designer series paper from A Walk in the Forest that I just glued onto a cherry cobbler hexagon. So just punch one out of the designer paper, punch one out of the cherry cobbler, adhere those together, put your bear on, and you have a super cute, quick treat. Okay, everybody, I hope you liked those. I'm going to refresh because I'm not seeing any comments coming through. All right, there we go. So let's put this aside and we can move on to our next project. Whoops. All right. I'll put away my dies so I don't lose them because that would not be good. And we're done with this particular bundle for the moment. Okay. All right, so our next project is a card. And let's grab those supplies. Okay, and we are going to be using the Forever Forest Designer Series paper for this project, and this is back in stock. This is also Stampin' Up's philanthropic product this season. So for $3 of every purchase of a pack of this paper goes to help feed the hungry and do some good things for kids in our communities. And so I don't have a lot of this paper left. I've used quite a bit. So here's what we have. Got a good representation of 4 of the patterns. 2 of the patterns I've pretty much used up, and this one in particular. Okay, so we are going to actually be using this little piece right here. And this paper is designed to coordinate with the Beary Cute punch. So we can just take and cut our bear out here. Okay, so we've got that. Now we don't have to color or cut him. It's all done for us with the punch. And then in addition, this particular piece also has trees that coordinate with the Merriest tree dies. So you can take these dies and cut out the trees. So like this one would cut this one, but I don't have the full thing. But remember, don't throw these pieces away, because just because you can't get a full tree doesn't mean that it can't be used. And I'm going to show you that here in just a moment. Okay, from this die set, we're also going to be using this piece, which I've already pre-cut. I've taken a piece of the, what is this now called? In the annual catalog on page 127, you'll find the More Dazzle paper, and that's what this, well, this particular piece isn't exactly the More Dazzle paper. This is the old Bedazzled paper that I had on hand, but you can get something very, very close. It comes in gold and champagne in the catalog. Okay, so I've already pre-cut this piece, and I put the adhesive sheet on the back so that when I peel this off, these are a sticker. I'll show you how that works. And we're using these 3 dies here because we're going to stamp out some ornaments, and then we can cut them with these 3 dies. Okay. Plus, let's see, I've used 3 different sizes of the dies. I used the largest tree, the second largest tree, and the third largest tree. So we've got all those pieces. Okay, and you guys are, I have a decision for you to make here with this one. The rest of this, I've cut some pieces of designer series paper for our card. So let's get this out of the way. And then we'll move on to our card. Okay. So we're going to use a balmy blue card base that is 5.5 by 8.5. Okay, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I've already run the front of my card base through the Merry Melody 3D embossing folder. Now, to make this happen, and to make sure you have it right, because there is a right and wrong upside down, just pay attention to the 2, 4, the time here, the 2s and 4s there. And then I just put this in at the top of my cardstock on the fold, ran this through my cut and emboss machine with plate 1 and plate 4, and the spine should always go through first if you can. So I've done that. Okay. And we've got some of that designer series paper, and I've already pre-cut one of those trees. This is the tallest tree. Here's a partial tree. I didn't quite have a full one there. We've got a piece of the snowflake one, and this is 2 by 5. Okay. Got another piece of that designer series paper, and this is 3/4 by 5.5. And another one, this is 3 1/8 by 3 7/8. Okay, so we're going to be putting these here like so. This is the idea for this. Now you could use this sketch with any designer series paper you have in any stamp set. It's an easy, quick sketch when you're in a bind to come up with making a card. Just pull out a sketch like this and you will be good to go. Okay, so now I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to put this like that. I've got another tree hiding in here. Okay, so I've got this smaller tree here, and this was to go here, and then we'll put this tree here. Okay, so here is option 1 for you. All right, now we can do it that way with the designer series paper, or we can achieve the same thing with stamps and embossing powder. And what I've done here is that I stamped When you do this, you stamp the large, there's only one tree. There's a large tree and then there's a, so you've got this large tree and then you've got this filler piece, okay? So I stamped this tree in Pretty Peacock, Garden Green, and Old Olive. And I let that dry. Then I inked this up, the filler piece, with the Versamark ink, and I stamped it on all three of the large trees. And then I used white embossing powder and embossed it. And then I used the 3 different tree dies to cut that large tree down into these. So as you can see, these trees are all the same. It all started as the same tree. So you actually can build a tree and make all of these layers. There are 5 layers that you can cut that you can really pop this tree and give it dimension. But what I've done is I've made 3 different size trees. So we can use these cut trees on this card, or we can use the 3 embossed trees on this card. You tell me what you like. What would you like to see? And we are going to decorate these trees with some garland and some of those ornaments, okay? So, designer series paper or embossed? Option 2. Option 2, Jennifer says. Anyone else? DSP or embossing? Go ahead and type your answer in the comments. Embossed. Okay, so that's 2 embossed. All right. Okay, so I'll set these aside for another time, but you can see how you wouldn't even know that this tree was cut off if I use it. When I use it, you're not even going to notice. So be sure not to throw those pieces away that are still usable. All right, well, let's go ahead and start putting this together. So I'm going to use liquid glue because I'm putting this onto a 3D embossing folder. Okay, so we're just going to use our Tombow here. I'm just going to center this top to bottom and side to side if I can. And then I'm going to put my 2x5 piece on. Remember, this is 3 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then we've got a 2x5. Put that like that. And then we're going to take our branch piece here. I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm tired of fighting it. It doesn't want to stay still. And this has a beautiful bow pattern on the back. So then we're going to take, and this will go side to side. So I'm going to put it in about the center of that 2x5 piece and run it edge to edge. Okay, give that a press. I'm going to put this tree down flat. Like so. And then we're going to put this tree down flat. Let's see. Okay, that looks good. Go ahead and put this one down. Now this one we're going to pop up, but before we do that, let's go ahead and decorate it. Okay, so let's start with our garlands. And I know you really can't see this while it's in there, but I'm going to pull that up and I'm going to take this tiny little piece. Remember, it's already got a sticker on it. So I'm going to put these about here. And I'm going to grab my next piece. And I'm going to go from this side so it looks like it's going continuously. Actually, I need to fix this one a bit. The nice thing about these adhesive sheets is until you press them down, they don't really stick solid. So I'm just going to use my take your pick tool, lift that up from its backing paper. Okay, we're going to put that down. Now, when I originally did my first card, I used the silver and gold adhesive backed glimmer paper that was in the online exclusives, but that has since sold out. So I thought, well, I'm going to pull this because you can still get that, what is it called? More dazzling? Yeah, more dazzling paper in the annual catalog. Okay, so we've got this. Now let's put this down. Okay, let's put this here first, and then I'll work this side over here. All right. Okay, now I'm happy with that, so I'm going to take this and turn it over, and I'm going to use my bones folder to burnish those down because I don't want those coming off. And you can see how that worked really well. Came right off of that backing paper. It was cut clear through nicely. Okay, so I pre-stamped some. I want to show you what I did here. I took this trio of ornaments, and I wanted to have all kinds of different colors. You don't have to do that. You could do them all cherry cobbler if you want, but I stamped them down. I got some cherry cobbler. Then I got some balmy blue, and we're going to clean that off real quick. Okay, pat that dry. Give myself some space. Okay, got balmy blue. Then I can go for wild wheat. Okay, give that a little pat. Give myself some space. Got my wild wheat. Okay, and then I want a little bit of gray granite. I was trying to make these look like silver and gold. That's why I went with those. And then we need pretty peacock to tie it all together. Okay, now like I said, you don't have to go through this trouble. You could just stamp in all the same color, and you would only need 2 if you did it that way. Okay, because you would have enough ornaments. But the beauty of this stamp set is that they give you multiples. So you can take your ornaments, and I can cut 9 ornaments out in one run of my die cut machine. Okay, just cut this down to where it fits in my mini, and I can run 3 sets of those through, plus I can throw in this corner of my thing with a star, or this piece with a star. Okay, and then I run it through the machine one time and I've got everything I need. Okay, so I've already done that, but I did want to show you that we have multiples and how quickly this will all come together. Okay, so we've got that. Now let's go ahead, and this is how I did those trees. So you can see that I had the large trees cut, and then when you put the dies in, it only cuts part of the tree and leaves the other part behind. And yeah, you're wasting a little bit of paper doing that, but for the 3 different size trees with one stamp, it's worth it. Okay, so that is pretty nice. That's how I did all those different sizes of the trees. Okay, this one goes here. All right, so let's move that out of the way now, and let's grab our ornaments. Now you could, when you stamp, you could put some adhesive sheet on the back before you die cut, but I didn't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to take a pretty peacock, and I'm just going to set this and see what I think. Okay, so I'm going to go pretty peacock. I don't want that. I don't want the blue. Let's see. This is what I pre-cut without the adhesive. Let's get those out of the way for the garlands. Okay, I'm going to start with a cherry cobbler up here. And you know what? Then I'm going to go to smoky slate or gray granite. So I use gray granite. And then we're going to go with the different shape in balmy blue. I'm trying to use one of each shape of ornament. And then for the wild wheat, I'm going to go back to the elongated. And then I'm going to put my pretty peacock down here. Okay, so I'm only going to put 5 on. Now you can put more on if you want. I mean, you could go back and put well, let's do that. We'll put a cherry cobbler there. But if I want that cherry cobbler, I want this shape. Or wait a minute, let's go with this one here. I'll change the pretty peacock one to a different shape. Okay, and there we have it. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to pick my ornament up. I'm going to put just a dot of glue. And then I'm going to set that back down. And I'm going to repeat that for all of these ornaments. Okay, just a little dot, not a lot. If you can see it, it's enough. So we don't want it oozing everywhere. Okay. I am really enjoying this Merriest Trees bundle. It goes with just about everything. And of course, you don't have to decorate the tree. You don't have to emboss it. You could stamp it in 2 different colors of green just to give the tree texture, and use it just as a forest scene. And then you could bring in this little bear. So instead of having a decorated tree, you could just have 3 trees and put a bear in there. Put one of the fluffiest friends from the new online exclusives release. It's going to give those a good press to make sure they stay in place. And then I'm going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back. Pop this tree up. Okay, so we've got that. And then we're just going to set our tree down here in the middle, near the bottom edge of that piece of Designer Series paper, because I want to leave room at the top. And actually, I'm going to use a mini dimensional there at the top of that tree. Now that I see it looks like it needs one. So I'm just going to lift this up, slide that in at the top. Okay, then I'm going to take a star that I cut with that same paper, and I'm going to put a drop of glue at the tip of my tree. That way I know I don't have glue oozing out where I don't want it. Okay? All right, so we are almost done here with this. We need to add a sentiment. Okay, and for that we're going to take a scrap piece of white. Okay, and we're going to pull in from Brightest Glow. Now there are sentiments in the Merriest trees, and I could have used one of these, but it wasn't what I wanted. So I've pulled in the Brightest Glow, and I'm going to use 'Tis the Season, and I'm going to stamp that in Cherry Cobbler. Okay, this is on the bottom of my pile here. Okay, this is a cling stamp set, and I'm just going to put this right like so. And then I'm going to bring in again, I did last week, I'm going to pull in the mini pocket dies. And if you're looking for those, they are in the online exclusive section. They were in the catalog last year, and then they didn't put them back in the catalog, but they stuck them in the online exclusive section. This is a great set of dies. I'm going to show you a little bit more about this in just a minute. And then we need to run that through our die cut machine. Okay. And this is what it will look like when we get that done. Okay. So now we can take this and we can put this right here. And I think I'm going to pop that up. A couple of dimensionals here. I'm going to go a little bit lower. I don't want to cover up all of that Designer Series paper. So I'm going to go that right there. And there's our finished card front. I'm not going to add any bling or anything because we have plenty going on with our tree. So for the inside of our card, what I did was I took a 1/2 inch strip of this same Designer Series paper, 1/2 inch by 3 5/8, because this is 4 7/8 by 3 5/8 inches wide. Again, from the Brightest Glow, I took Hoping Your Christmas Shines Bright with the Love of Family and Friends and stamped that in Cherry Cobbler. And then from that Walk in the Park Designer Series paper, I added one of those punched bears. Okay, so we're going to add that. And you can see I made a mistake and put the wrong sentiment on the inside. Oh, and guess what I did? I did that in the wrong direction. So let's try that in the correct orientation, shall we? Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. Let's get the right one. Let's grab an inside piece. I keep extras of these cut all the time. So let's get out that sentiment. Hoping your Christmas shines bright with the love of family and friends. I'll stamp that the correct orientation. I know everybody's done that at least once. Okay, so we've got that. I don't like the way that looks, so let's turn it over. Try that again. Okay, still is not. Hang on, I'm going to show you how to fix that. For some reason, that H is not giving me my piece. It's there and it's inked, but maybe I didn't press hard enough. So I'm just going to take my Stampin' Right marker and I'm going to fix that. Just like that. Now, nobody will really know that that did not stamp out exactly how I had wanted it. Now let's grab another piece of that Walk in the Forest Designer Series paper. See if this one that I have left in here. Yep, that's long enough. So I only want a 1/2 inch piece. Let me close up this ink pad before I have an ink catastrophe. Put this in our trimmer at the 1/2 inch on this side. And then I'll have 2 pieces. One for another card and one for this card. And let's go ahead and just put a little bit of liquid glue along the bottom here. And I'm leaving just the tiniest border of white at the bottom. Okay, and then that was a little long, so we'll cut it off. Now we'll add our bear. And our inside is now finished. Okay, put that down. And then I'll have to use that inside for another card. I guess I have to make another card in the other orientation. Okay, so there's what we have. And then I took the We Wish You a Merry Christmas. That's also from Merriest Trees. And there's a star in here. So I've used this stamp and this star stamp and stamped my envelope. And then I used one of the present images on the flap. So now we have a complete set. All right. If you want to stick around, I'll show you how those mini pocket dies work. I know I mentioned them last week, but this week I cut one out so you could see exactly how to put them together. So this is how the die comes, just like this. This is the piece that you get when you cut this. Okay. So then you fold on all the lines, the score lines. So you've got 3 of them. And then we're going to put just before we do anything though, when I put this through, I don't know if you can see it, but my plate is pretty marked up, and that marked the inside of the top of my card a little bit, and I don't like that. So in order to make this match my project, I took a piece that was 2.5 inches by 1 1/4. Pretty sure that's what it is. Yep, 2.5 by 1 1/4. And I put that piece on my plate, and I ran this through like this, and it gives me that. So then I can take and add this to my card, and it's better to be a little bit over on your designer series paper at the top than under. So try to get it lined up, but if you don't, it's better to be over than under. Then we're just going to give that a nice burnish. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of liquid glue and I'm going to run it along those edges. And then I'm going to grab a gift card, and I'm going to lay this in here. And then I'm going to close this down. Okay. I'm just going to close that flat like that with the gift card in there. And the reason that I'm putting the gift card in there is because I want to make sure that I'll have enough room for my gift card to flow easily. And then I'm just going to burnish that down. And then my gift card will go in and out of that very nicely. Okay. Now I could stamp on the front. I could do whatever. I could put another tree here. In fact, let's do that. You could do this, take one of these trees and stick it right here if you wanted. Then you could decorate it too if you liked, because you could make these work. This will work even on these smaller ones. You'd have to cut one of these off and then use the 3, go from there. But you could do that. I'm not going to. And then your pocket, you can add to the inside of your card. Now, I don't particularly like it on the inside of the card. I prefer adding these to these, unless you do these where they would open this way. Hot dog way instead of this way. Okay? All right. There we have that. Let me bring back in my other project. Oh, and I wanted to show you that this piece here, what did I do with those? I pre-made some. Let's see if I got them. So far I can't show you. I must have moved them too far out of the way. This and this make a little bow, make a paper bow. And I made one up earlier to show you, but I don't see it sitting right here now. Apparently when I cleaned up for the live, I cleaned up too well. Okay, so we have this project and we have this one for tonight. So I hope you liked all those, everybody. I will be back next Wednesday with another couple of Christmas projects, I'm sure. So I will, or not Wednesday, Tuesday, sorry. Next Tuesday. All right. So I hope everybody has a good week, and I will see you again. Take care and be crafty. Good night.